We continue with more of our tribute to Patrice O'Neal.
Joining Opie, Anthony, and Jim Norton in this segment are comedians Joe Rogan, Bob Kelly, Joe DeRosa, and Jim Florentine.
And we got to go to the hotline right away because Joe Rogan is calling from L.A. Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey, buddy. What's up, Joe?
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
It's just a weird day for everyone.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah. There's someone said you played a nice clip and said some stuff on your podcast yesterday, too.
Yeah, we played that one. There's one clip that really, for me, defines Patrice. It's when you guys got in trouble for that. Of course you remember, the crazy guy who said all the shit about Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah,
Homeless Charlie, who we fucking loved.
Patrice got on that Fox show with that really humorless lady.
From Now.
And just annihilated her, made her look ridiculous, made the whole thing look preposterous, and defined it in the best way that I heard anybody define all this PC bullshit about going after comedians and radio DJs for trying to be funny. You know, and that it all comes from the same place. That funny all comes from the same place. It was brilliant. The way he said it, the way he put it was brilliant. The way he handled that dumb cunt was brilliant. the whole thing was brilliant. It was just perfect. It was perfect Patrice.
He killed her with intelligence besides the comedy. That's what was so brilliant about it.
When she called him a fool, he won. Yeah. You know, he goes, "Oh, name calling."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'm offended. I'm offended." It was so perfect, you know. He killed her with intelligence and charm, and just by being a comic and saying, "I'm here speaking for funny," you know. And then when she was like, she tried to go over his act and paraphrase his act, and he's like, no, that's not what I said. And then he goes and does the whole angry pirate thing.
Oh shit, that was hilarious.
No, I said you ejaculate her eye and then you kick her in the shin. And she walks around like an angry pirate. And then people were laughing on the crew, and he's like, "How are you laughing? This woman is outraged."
Yeah. Oh god damn, that was fucking funny. That's a great way to deal with somebody. Like, that's how you deal with a dummy like that from Now.
Yeah.
Is you don't cower to them or bow to them. If you're belligerent about it, they really have no recourse, and that's what he did, and he destroyed her.
Yeah, it was vintage Patrice.
And that guy liked him. That John Gibbs really liked Patrice. He would have him. I think Fox got mad at that, but John Gibbs really loved Patrice.
Well, John Gibbs had to do an apology for Patrice's performance.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah, he didn't want to. You could just tell, he was in a bad spot. And then, unfortunately, Patrice is sticking up for us and comedians in general, and like you said, Joe, funny. And it turned out that Fox never used him again. But that was Patrice. He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't care.
What he did was better than Fox using him 100 times.
Right.
Him towing their company line.
Right.
One of my favorite parts is when Patrice was like, "I speak for funny." He goes, "You speak for people that stand in front of that thing and go, 'Oh, today,' blah, 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 blah." He defined that guy's life.
Yeah.
His fucking life is 40 hours a week he gets in front of a fucking camera and does that. And Patrice just made him look preposterous.
Right.
Oh, man.
He spoke for funny. He fucking said it, and that was true. He spoke for funny.
She had no idea what she was in for because she probably and I was saying earlier in the show, the worst thing you could do with Patrice is not realize what a bright guy he was, because he was really a brilliant guy. And she didn't understand that he was a smarter person than she was, and he was going to run circles around her mentally. Like, he's a big, loud guy, but he was going to outthink her, and he really made an absolute asshole out of her, which was fantastic.
Her whole premise was that she was speaking for America, and we are tired. He's like, who?
Yeah. Name names. Name one name.
Are you speaking for America? Are you speaking for America?
Right.
And he could
speaking for me.
He dismissed her, and if anybody knows the face, the Patrice scrunch, the face, the dismissive face scrunch. You never wanted to be on the receiving end of the dismissive face scrunch.
You would have been a great silent film actor.
Followed by
some faces.
But they're always followed by the Patrice finger.
Yeah. Go away. She's done with you.
Dismissed.
She kept plowing forward with her pre-rehearsed bullshit. It was beautiful.
I liked your tweet yesterday, Joe, that Patrice was a thinker, man.
Yeah.
People need to understand that.
Yeah. Well, people love to categorize people, and it's so easy. And, when you have a black comic, and, people automatically just assume that they fall into a very specific category, and Patrice was just a brilliant comic. He was a brilliant thinker. He was the type of guy that if he wasn't a comic, he would be that dude that you would, look forward to going to work. Because if you were working with that guy, because he was going to say some funny shit all day while you worked together.
Yeah. One thing that was really great was the fact that he could take a very complicated subject, and I'd be sitting here all geared up for a very in-depth, complicated, let's dissect this subject thing, and he would sum it up in one sentence. And make you think, fuck, that is it. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. It's like when he was talking about the DC sniper on Tough Crowd. Remember that? I don't remember. He summed it up to a nigger in a Buick.
Just fucking hilarious.
And he pointed out that they beeped the word Buick and kept the word nigger. He goes, they beeped Buick.
That's hilarious.
He would have these theories, and he would really be great at penning you into a corner and making his... no matter how wrong he was, I'm telling you, white women don't understand cooking. And then he would just, for 15 minutes, convince you, God damn it, he's right. White women stink in the kitchen.
He almost got me and my wife to do a threesome with him.
Shit.
He is a motherfucker.
He was awesome, man. He was awesome. He was a real unique dude, truly a one of a kind.
Yep.
You asked me to find another dude who's like Patrice. Boy, I can't think of one. I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
He was very uniquely his own person. A very different dude. Very different kind of thinker.
He wasn't afraid of being wrong either, and that's one thing I loved about him and he was wrong sometimes, and he always made it, even when he was wrong and his argument was wrong, he was always interesting. He never gave you a typical or predictable point of view. Even when it was stupid, it was like, well, I could see why he would say that. He was amazing at making you understand why he felt the way he felt.
He was a great listener, which is important,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a great talker, too. I mean, of course. I would talk to him for 4 hours on the phone. I remember I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and he'd still be talking.
You always knew Patrice was done with you, too, because he'd call you up and he would say whatever it was he had to discuss. And then you'd go yeah, man, my relationship's in trouble. And he'd go, you at the cellar tonight? Like, all right, scumbag, I get it, time to go. My ears were available for your fucking dissertation, and now you got to call someone else and repeat yourself. Fucking creep.
He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
Yep, it's very sad, man.
Yeah, well, Stanhope and I were on the phone yesterday, and I called him up, and I'm like, did you hear about Patrice? He's like, yeah, and, we realized there was nothing to say, so we just go, sucks, fucking sucks.
Yeah,
sucks,
that's all you can really
sucks.
say. And
then he said it best. He goes, you know what? It's better that than him not being able to talk.
Oh, yeah.
That's been something a lot of people have said, too, yeah.
Yeah. For Patrice, fuck yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine the torture of not being able to point out the stupid shit that you see all around you?
I know, right?
And not even the talking, too. It's like to not be able to, communicate. If you can't, even to little things like nodding or gesturing, where you can at least let people know what you want. And anything that happens, people would know is because you want it to happen.
That would kill him, too. If he could just nod, and we had to just fucking Voss yapping to him at a coffee shop. That Barney was you'd see him just crack his own neck. Yeah. Just fucking throw his head on the pavement.
When you think about trying to replicate him, when you think about trying to replace him, that's when you realize how special that dude was. Imagine someone trying to take that place.
Nah, impossible.
He never, even when I met him in Boston, I met him, me and Billy and Dane.
20 years ago, right, Bobby?
Yeah, I met him in a remember the BCN comedy riot, Joe?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We were all in it together, and he showed up, and it's just, it's Boston, but here's this big black dude. There was never a race around him, though. No. He'd hang out with Patrice. I used to drive him to his house in Roxbury, and it was never like, oh, my God, I'm driving a black dude back to the project. It was just driving Patrice home. He was always just Patrice. He was never, not to say that, he didn't, bring up black sub or he wasn't black, but it was never I'm black, you're white. It was just fucking Patrice all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, he didn't fall into that easy box. There's an easy box to fall into when you're a black comic. You start doing black comedy. A lot of black comics will tell you too, like that they get pressured to do a certain type of comedy to fit in on Chocolate Monday or Fat Tuesday or whatever those all black shows are. He never did that. It was just Patrice. You're right.
No, the crowd was always diverse every time you saw him.
I remember though we talking on the phone. You could talk about shit, and it wasn't like a fucking. You talk to comics. It's like that's a bit. You should do that. And it's like shut the fuck up. If you ever did that with him, you'd be like motherfucker.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Yeah, we were talking one day. How do you tell if Japanese people are gay? Because he was like, you'd have to go, dude. You like pussy? Hey. you like sucking dick? Hey.
You totally figure that.
You can talk to him about bullshit for hours. Nothing.
The dumbest thing.
Hours.
You could discuss for hours.
Hours. Right? I remember he had so many phases too. He would tell you fucking. He'd make fun of you for something, and then a month later show up with the same hat, and you'd be like, "You motherfucker!" He'd be like, "Hey, we can do."
It's cool. It's cool now.
Yeah.
You'd say it's cool now, though.
He bought my watch. This motherfucker called me on the, my big Breitling that I've had. It was the first thing I bought when I got any money at all. And everybody, he gave me shit. Dude, what do you need such a fucking big watch for? I like whatever. He called me up with it. What kind of watch you got? Like it's a Breitling Super Avenger. It's all, the white face. So it's great. And then he showed up the next time. He had the exact same watch. And it's not a Timex. It's it's like $3,000.
Gotta go out of your way.
And then he told me not to wear his watch. He's like, stop wearing my watch in public, man. And people believed it was his watch. His phases were true. Like he went through the fucking football jersey phase.
All right,
I watched the old Tough Crowd clips. And, he always thought that was his thing. He would wear the fucking the Dolphins hat and the Dolphins jersey. Yep. And then all of a sudden he was a fucking putting on the Ritz with his stupid big hats. He wore fucking extra large suits.
Yeah.
He walked in the cellar one night with a suit on and one of those fucking hats. I said, are you coming out with your own barbecue sauce? He very rarely, he never really caught a full pounding though. I've gotten full poundings.
Yes.
I've gotten to the point where I've thrown clothes out. Like I went home and talked to my wife, and she was like, "It's all right. Maybe you should find new friends."
His laugh would diffuse all that though, when you're trying to get at him, and then he would just kill the whole mood with one big over the top laugh. You're like, "Fuck!"
And he was so loud.
Right?
Yeah, I remember the first time I met him. I'm at the Comedy Cellar, and I do a set, and I guess he's following me, so he's in the hallway, and I walk out, and he's just shaking his head. He's like, "You drove in for Jersey for that?" And he pulls a 20 out. He goes, "Here's some toll money. I feel bad for you." That's the first time I'm like, what a fucking dick. And then he just starts to laugh. "Come here, man." I'm like, "Fuck you." He's like, "Oh, come here. And he just started laughing. He's like, "Man, that was fucking awful. That was fucking awful." Never forget that.
He was definitely able to tread that line between being just a complete scumbag and being unbelievable charming.
Right. He was. Somehow he was charming after that. I talked to him.
How the fuck is that possible?
The first time I met him was at the Cellar. I was like a year into comedy, and I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in New York. And I walked
knock that right out of you.
Yeah, I walked in. I had really curly, froey hair and a big bushy beard. And him and Keith were talking, and I kind of knew Keith, and I wanted to chime in with my stupid whatever, and I go, "You know what I think?" And he just looks at me with the scrunchy face that you were talking about, Jim, and he goes, "Shut the fuck up, you halfway through a werewolf transformation."
Oh, that's brutal.
Fucking, I didn't speak for 6 months in the Cellar after that.
Well, you shouldn't have. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, goddamn.
His take on things was always so different. It was always so whoa, okay, and there's that too.
Yeah.
He would pull it out of nowhere.
Yeah, things you just wouldn't fucking think of. Yeah.
He's one of the funniest guys on the
ever.
I mean, no. I mean, you can watch all the greats, Chris Rock, all those fucking guys. I think he's funnier and up there with all of them.
Especially in person.
It's just the industry. If the industry gave him a pass, if somebody said because he didn't want to do it on anybody else's terms. He didn't want to fucking play ball and feel like shit. Because he fucking played ball with people that he regularly wouldn't like, and that he was funnier than, and he knew funny, and they didn't. If they gave him just a shit, he would be the biggest thing of all time.
That's why I said he only deals with mid-level Jews. Talking about the mid-level Jews,
he can handle them.
Well, I'll tell you, his last Comedy Central special was pretty fucking good, man. It was it was great. It was a real, true representation of what he's capable of doing. And so oftentimes, we know a lot of guys who never really get that one special that sort of kind of defines their act, but he nailed it. He nailed it in that Comedy Central special.
That was a good one. He was a good. And stop if I know you guys are passing that around, but go fucking buy it.
Yeah,
don't just watch the whole fucking thing.
No, we were saying that before. Just like
because the money's going to go toward his family.
Yeah, go buy it and spend the money and have it and own it and fucking support Patrice's family.
Are you guys going to do any benefit shows or anything?
No, we're never going to do that.
No way, not for free.
Not for free. I'm kidding. If they give out like cool iPads, I'll do it.
I got a check for $250 waiting. I'm sure we'll wind up doing something. Sure.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do something.
This is just so new. We'll figure it all out.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
No.
I got a question. Did you guys ever see him bummed out ever?
All the time.
Sure.
I saw him.
Really?
I remember in L.A. He actually taught me. Patrice was.
What do you mean all the time?
Well, because we talked all the time. We're always fucking with comics,
These comics are always miserable.
He should have been. He shouldn't have. He told me. He said, "Dude, I should be more famous than I am. I shouldn't be friends with you." He's like, "I love you, Bobby, but I shouldn't be able to. I shouldn't be as accessible to you as I am. Like, you can just call me." But man, I remember when in L.A. He was staying with me in L.A. and I was staying in Culver City at a 1-bedroom, and we both did this competition, and he went forward in it, and he of course he did. He was staying on. He had to come back out. And he's staying on my couch, and now I'm not in the competition. He wanted rides to this. He wanted me to drive him to the Laugh Factory. I was in the competition. I didn't get picked. Now you want me to drive you? But he actually schooled me. He was like, "Yeah, that's what friends do, you fucking piece of garbage. You drive me. You let me stay at your house. You feed me. That's what you." And I was like, "Oh, okay. You're right. You're fucking right. That's what we do. We fucking help each other." And I remember he came home after doing it, and he did well. And he just was like, he didn't know if he got it. And he didn't think he did because something happened. It wasn't a perfect set. And I remember he was so fucked up, like, just give me a fucking break. Like, and this was years ago.
Yeah.
And it just give me one fucking break. I can't. They wanted him to cut something out of his act. And if he did it, he would compromise his set and what he thought was funny.
Okay, yeah.
And if he didn't, it would be good for to go on in the competition. And he didn't. He did. And they fucking let him do his thing, and he got in, and he got the Showtime special. So, I mean, that's one of those defining moments where you cut it, and I'll cut it, go ahead. I just want to be liked and fucking on TV.
Right.
Most guys would do that. Most guys would go, whatever you want, whatever you're going to do. He would that's why people didn't understand him. He would take that moment and go, if I do this, I know it's not a big deal, but if I do this, I'm changing who I am. I think I am, and I can't fuck you. I'm not cutting anything.
You think he was stubborn in that way, or
it wasn't I think it's a point in life where you got to choose who the fuck you are.
Right. Well, some people always felt like, God, just make that tiny little change, but to him, it felt like a massive.
And it's a snowball effect too. Once you make one compromise, then you're gonna just keep doing it.
But he was at times uncompromising in an unreasonable way, and he would tell you that. Like, there's times where he would look back and probably go like, I wish I had played the game a little bit, because it is a business, and you have to do certain things that he wasn't good at doing. And he would say that, like he knew that.
My friend was an audio guy on this Comedy Central pilot that him and Voss did. I think they were like roasting people at a wedding or something like that. This is in the early 2000s. And he said that, Patrice had his mic on. He was listening. He abused these Comedy Central executives when they came down to watch the pilot and give notes. He goes, I never heard of fucking bashing before in my life. Ultimately, the pilot never got picked up. He's like, I respect that guy, man, because he just told him that shit ain't funny. I ain't fucking doing it. Wow. Why are you here? Why you have a pocket watch? Go home. Jesus Christ. Yeah, some big guys there too, and the pilot never got picked up. It's like, I respect that motherfucker.
It's like web junks. I mean, that's the Tosh 2.0 that he's getting millions of dollars for.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And he was like, that he got into a problem with them, and he was like, no, fuck you. And I would have fucking, whatever you want, sir. Everybody in this room would have fucking bent over and took it in the ass.
Most people we know certainly would have made changes, but that wasn't Patrice.
No.
He had such a like a firm understanding too with the realities of that, which he would always say, like, look, man, if you want to walk that righteous road, you got to take the lumps. Like, you got to be ready to lose money and whatever. And he would talk about, like, if somebody at a club when he was coming up would say, Patrice, don't do that bit where you say cunt or whatever. And you go, is it a big deal for me not to do the bit? Not really, but it's just a matter of I can't allow you to tell me to not do it, because once I open that door a little bit, then it swings open and it never, you know what I mean? It's just the floodgates are open, and a lot of guys aren't familiar with that the way he was. A lot of guys go, I want to be the fucking rebel, but I also want to be loved by everybody.
He was also defensive sometimes when he did, like he would do that. And because, everybody wants to succeed and do well. And then when he realized, like, hey, this group actually likes me, then he would just think, oh, okay. Like, he, a lot of times was more defensive than he needed to be, because more people were going to like him and be comfortable with him than he thought.
Well, he said that one time. He goes, I'd rather make you feel uncomfortable than I feel uncomfortable. Than you make me feel uncomfortable. Like, people come into the room, the execs and the big, powerful people, and you'd feel fucked up. He says, I'd rather just immediately make him feel like a piece of shit than me sitting there feeling like a piece of shit. Which may be wrong, may hurt him, I don't know, but it fucking makes sense. I mean, it was hilarious to watch when some important fucking douche would walk in the room. He goes, look at you. Fucking short. Is that a wig?
We had such a fight when we were fucking taping the Colin Quinn show on NBC. It was there was 3 episodes, and I was in 2 of them with Patrice. And we would do our act. It was Monday nights at 9:30 on NBC on the SNL stage, and it was live. So Colin would do an opening monologue and opening bits, and then he did something called Town Hall, which was like Nick DiPaolo and a couple of us, Keith, myself, Geraldo was in, I think, a couple of them, and Patrice, and we would just do a bit of our act. It was like the original Tough Crowd. We were actually doing pieces of our act for a couple of minutes each into live TV. And I remember I had to go over things with standards and practices, and I was trying to get something through. And fucking, he was standing there just shit-talking me and the woman. And I'm like, well, look, why can't I say this? It's about race. And she's like, well, you can't do that. And he's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, would you? This is live television, you asshole. Oh, we had such a fucking fight. And he was wrong. That one he was wrong about, because he was like just being him. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking, this is standards and practices on NBC. I'm doing fucking live TV. Because when he was nervous, he was fucking just venting.
You remember the fight we got in Brazil? Man, were you there in Brazil? We had a rule in Brazil: if you got a lady of the evening, you put her in a car behind you, because they're a bunch of fucking criminals. You know what I mean? They'll drop
them
stuff,
throwing drugs and blaming you.
And there's roadblocks everywhere, especially on the weekends. The cops just set up a roadblock. They look in, see a tourist with one of the girls, and they pat you down. Then you got to pay them off. We had this rule, but Patrice was Patrice. The fucking mayor of Brazil, fucking Rio de...
After one day.
Well, he spoke fucking 2 Portuguese words, and it sounded like he spoke fluent Portuguese. Because he would slow it down. He'd go, tudo bem, obrigado. What the fuck? Shut the fuck.
Yeah, he really thought he was a man about town. It's like, they want your money, asshole.
You guys were doing gigs in Brazil?
No. Fucking hookers.
We're banging $30 whores.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 3-1 back then, too.
Dude,
right?
we would take fucking 100-milligram Viagras and go to the whorehouse and just not come until like the third or fourth girl, because once you blew the load, you were done. And I remember me and him standing there in our robes upstairs in fucking whatever that thermos
Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. And I had a fucking 100-milligram Viagra hard-on poking out the front of my fucking robe. And you couldn't see my dick, but you could see the tent. And me and him were just standing there, and we're both just looking at the tent in my robe, and we're howling at exactly where we are and what we're doing. We're like in a third world country taking dick pills and fucking prostitutes for $20 American.
Holy shit! You flew in for that?
Oh my God!
Oh,
Yes.
You didn't hear about the Brazil years?
Oh yeah.
Joe,
That was like a 2-3 year period with these guys.
Joe, more than once.
Yeah. How many years was it? Was it about a 3-year period?
No, it was when we were off the air. I never went once we came back on, because I felt like I had too much to lose and things could go wrong so quickly there. I think we did 3 trips. Once I stayed in the Sheraton, and twice the Rio Othon.
The Othon. Yeah, but Patrice, man, and Brazil, oh, God, was he funny. I remember the last day we ran around and just took pictures of everything for our families. Like, we spent...
like you were really there on
I had changes of clothes. I was like, let me put the shirt on. I'll put the fucking Cristo, the Jesus statue. But
That's hilarious.
we would, I remember we got in the fucking car. We're in the car.
Yeah.
He puts one of these cars are small. The cabs are real small. Right? They're just these small little shit cars. Yeah. He gets in the front. You imagine how big he is. Then he throws his girl in the back with me. With me. And the rule is no whores in the same car. And I'm going, Patrice, don't put the girl. Put her in the car. She doesn't want to go in the car by herself. She wants to go with Patricky. Right? He goes, get in the car. And I'm like, Patrice, get her out of the car. And get her out. And we're driving. Just go. And all of a sudden he goes, shut the fuck up, Bawby. And very rarely hear Patrice snap for real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you shut the fuck up. Then we look and there's a roadblock, just cops, and I'm like, great.
Oh, fuck.
And they pull us over, and he's nervous now. Everybody's shitting their pants. They got fucking machine guns, but their finger is on the trigger, which is, you're not supposed to
have your finger on the trigger.
So they take us out, and Patrice is, everybody's fucking, I'm in like, you fucking cocksucker.
Brazilian prison.
We're gone. We're gone.
Yeah.
And he's out there. They got the girl out there. They're talking Portuguese to the girl. You don't know what she's ratting us out, throwing us on the bus. The fucking cab driver, Patrice said, and then they get to me. I got 1,000 real in my pocket, which they're taking that. That's fucking gone. You know? And then I tried to assimilate because I'm such a worm. I tried to, because I have puffy lips and I might look a little Spanish. I just said "sí" because I didn't. I said, you understand they have guns on us. Okay?
Yeah.
The guy's patting me down. He touches every pocket. I'm like, see. I said "see" around 87 times. All of a sudden, on the 50th "see," you hear Patrice go. he starts losing it. Oh, shit. You get back in the car, he goes, you fucking idiot. He's like, if you said "see" one more time. Oh, shit. He is a funny motherfucker, man.
Some foreigner being frisked by the NYPD, just standing there going, yes. What an idiot he'd look like. That was you, Bobby.
I was scared.
Fucking hilarious.
You know, Patrice would talk his way out of jail.
Yeah.
You guys would actually do a fundraiser to fucking get a lawyer to get him out. You'd leave me there. We're working on it, Kelly.
You'd love it.
That was a fucking gay joke.
Yeah.
Well, this sucks.
Yep. Yeah, it fucking blows me. I'm going to miss him a lot.
Yeah, everybody is, definitely. Well, Mr. Rogan, anything else, sir?
Oh, nothing, man. You know, what can I say? And this is, it's a unique friendship that comics have with each other. You know, there's very few people like us. You know, the only people that are like us are you guys, or radio DJs. You're essentially the same thing. You're just doing it on the radio instead of doing it at a comedy club.
Yeah. Needy creeps. That's all we
Needy,
all are.
damaged creeps.
Damaged, needy fucking messes. Disasters.
Right. we are the best and worst of humans.
Yeah.
We are the.
You only get us. You only get us if you fuck us up when we're young.
That's true.
You have shitty parents and shitty situations growing up. You know, the beautiful thing is it creates, MMA fighters, stand-up comics, musicians, anybody who's like, really fucking determined to express themselves.
Trying to hide all this shit inside a rolling paper outer crust. It's just fucking barely there.
When they stopped Sandusky when he was fucking that kid, they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making a comic. Like, okay.
This kid's going to be brilliant in another 10 years. Shit. Yeah, Joe, well said, brother. Well said.
Well, there's nothing we can say that's going to make this good. It's just he was awesome. He was awesome when he was alive, and I'm just happy I got to know him. I wish I knew him more. I wish I was around him more. I had already left Boston, but when he was coming up, and I already left New York when he was there. I was already in L.A. But when I did get to hang out with him, it was awesome.
It's weird. It's like, it's funny. It's like, I'm grateful. I said to somebody, like, I had a very complete friendship with him. Like, there's nothing that I say, like, I wish I had said this. Right. I wish I had expressed that. Like, we traveled together. We did gigs
said that to
together.
me.
Oh, was it to you?
Yeah, apparently we don't have that, but go ahead.
No, I'm right here, Jim. I'm right here. I remember it. You should.
You told me that last week, too.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember. Fucking shit friend he is. Why? It's my.
I don't know who I said it to, but I had a complete friendship
sorry, Bob.
with
fuck you. I didn't remember. You were just a big pair of fat ears I was saying it to. Sorry. I guess I should write down in a notebook, said to Bob. All right, so listen. I was talking to this fat fuck that I know, and I said, Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry, Bob. But it's like, you look back on it, I'm like, I'm really happy that I was friends with him, and I'm really like happy that we did that shit together. And it's like, I don't look back and go, fuck, I wish I had said that, man. Like, you look back with regret, and there was none. Yeah. There's not one thing that when he was in the hospital, I'm like, I have to say this to him, or I have to get this point, because he knew. I mean, I knew how much he liked me, and he knew how I felt about him.
It was complete.
It was a real complete relationship.
He was fucking
That's all you
great,
could ask
man.
for.
He was fucking call you up for his barbecue, be like, yo, man. He actually called you and thanked you for coming to the barbecue.
Yeah.
Which is like, dude, for all the shit that people say about him, like he's this and he's that, and he's this big motherfucker, and he makes fun of people, and he's mean to people, he wasn't. He was funny all the time.
All the time.
And funny, that's what funny is fucking making fun of people and being as honest as you possibly can. But he was also one of the nicest guys I know. He would call you up and go, yo, man, I just want to call you up and thank you for coming by, man. I appreciate you coming by to my barbecue. It's like, what?
He fucking cooked at my barbecue for hours for a bunch of people he didn't know most of them, and just cooked there because he just enjoyed doing it. And then when he was done, I'm such a racist.
You had him do that.
I just like, get to work.
Get to work. Did you make him wear a pancake hat? Fucking Aryan cocksucker.
Yeah, he can come if he cooks.
Yeah, he's going to cook because I won't have
Only
way I'll let you in my house. Way to spin it today.
The only thing he asked for when he was done is like,
Kool-Aid?
I just want me and my chick to go in and Kool-Aid and Cheetos. He goes, I just want me and my chick to be able to watch a movie in the theater.
Really?
And I went downstairs and there were like 5 kids in the theater watching some shit. Yeah, Uncle Paul. And I just walked in there and I was like, I shut the movie off. I was like, all right, Ollie is out. Out. And Patrice is like, oh, you're not going to tell. I'm like, no, I'm doing that. Get out of here.
Jesus, Joe, is that your fucking sinuses? What's that noise? Joe.
Joe, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just sitting here.
No, you can hear you breathing at your fucking nose into the microphone.
His phone needs a windscreen.
Sounds like you're trying to blow yourself in a tub.
I can't hear anything. My nose?
No, it's just like, that's what a man breathes like.
Yeah.
He
we're
really
not used
is
to
a
that.
man.
Probably heard that on the back of his neck.
Yeah, exactly. Is it weird to hear that breathing without "Don't tell your mother"?
Jesus Christ.
You brought it up.
This motherfucking room can spin.
It really is
really
terrible.
fast.
It's a horrible place. It's a horrible place.
Jesus Christ. I was walking over today with a girl, and she's like, that's really nice that everybody's going in to talk about Patrice. And I go, it is nice, but it is going to be the most evil whole fucking
No,
room.
it's never going to be nice.
It's going to be everybody trashing each other.
We all got together down the cellar last night, and it was literally a couple minutes of, man, it sucks. What's up? How you doing? And then nice shirt.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid. And then it just fucking unraveled. It was fucking.
Incapable of just keeping
emotion.
that moment
Thank
and
God.
emotion.
These guys can,
I know. I kind of like that.
You guys
man,
can tip your toes into emotion, but that's about it.
It's not true.
That's
It's
about it
really
for you
not
guys.
true, man. I mean, it's weird. I've had some. I think we're the most. We just don't do it in public. But I've talked to fucking him. I've talked to, I've talked to Patrice. I mean, some serious, deep. I think we're fucking crazy. That's one of the things that fucks us is that we're so emotional. We have such fucking light skin. It's like fucking the crust of a fucking tapioca pudding. It's just fucking mushy douchebags we are.
He's trying to make a thin-skinned analogy.
Always brings it back to food, doesn't
It
he?
really does. It's like the crust of a delicious tapioca with a little brown sugar on it.
Cinnamon. I like cinnamon.
Speaking of which, can you guys send an order out right now?
we get some food for
There's
everyone.
nobody in this room in shape except for Anthony.
Florentine's in shape. Look at Florentine.
Let me see.
Look at Jimmy.
Florentine's
Jim looks
arms.
good.
Let me see.
It's all right.
No, take your shirt off, Jim.
No, but I wanted to say about Patrice. I mean, he did have a serious side. Like, my ex-girlfriend passed away, and he was close to her. He loved her. He's like, she was my favorite. And he called me like 3 days a week for like the first month.
Oh, wow.
And I was afraid to pick up the phone the first time because I really thought he was just going to tear into me.
Oh,
You
shit.
ain't over that shit yet? Ain't you fucking a bitches? But he would just call and we'd talk like that. So, he did show a human side.
Yeah.
And then about 3 months later, he's like, you ain't over this shit yet? Get the fuck out there.
I'm going to tell you what a fucking piece of shit he could be, too. I'm going to tell you a story right now that I've never told anybody.
I got a couple more. I got like 4 more piece of shit stories.
And I love this. I loved him so much, and I understood him so well that I let this go. But anybody else should have never talked to this fucking idiot. My wife last year, I think it was last year. Not this year's October, the last October. She planned a surprise birthday party for me. Huge. Okay, event. It was supposed to be 100 people and fucking burlesque dancers, and then Geraldo passed away on the night that the party was supposed to take place. So she had
That was his wake. Oh, right. Okay.
She had to cancel it and make it, literally at the last second, rearrange everything and make it into a small restaurant. And she could only afford a couple, a small amount of people.
She wanted to roast you. She wanted us to go up and roast you a little bit and fuck with you.
It was going to be huge, a huge event. And she told all my friends. Patrice called me up 2 days before the party, and went, Bobby. And I was like, what's up? He goes, I got to tell you something, man. And I'm like, what's up, man? He goes, your wife's planning a surprise party for you, right? And I'm like, what?
What the fuck?
And he goes, I just want to let you know, man, because I don't like surprises. He goes, I don't know if you like surprises like that. I don't know if you like that type of shit. So and I go, maybe you should have opened with, do you like surprises? And I would have said, yes, I love fucking surprises. I'm a lonely piece of shit. I love surprises.
He was looking out for you.
I fucking knew you knew.
I
fucking knew you knew when you walked in. I was like, he's not surprised. It was
Whoa, what a surprise!
I wasn't expecting this.
This is what he said. He was like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. I go, look, Patrice, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're just a fucking dummy. I go, what? Why would it matter what you think in my life? He was like, fuck me, man.
Oh, he knew he fucked up.
Oh, he knew he fucked up.
He was trying to take care of you.
He goes, can you just don't say anything? Just act. I go,
Great.
fuck.
Now you're saddled with that.
I walked into the fucking party. I had to pretend I'm surprised to my wife. I just looked at him and he just a little smirk because he saw my shitty acting.
Well, I didn't know you weren't surprised, nor do I give a shit now. Your level of surprise is a valueless thought to me. I don't think we should. I think the surprise should have been that the party just got canceled and you walked in there alone, asshole.
It's an empty room.
You're in your 40s. No, you're in your 40s.
Exactly.
No more surprise parties.
Sorry, we didn't have the little fucking hat for you. Dad, they got a hat with a 4 and a 0.
Oh, God.
That fucking
You know what I
hurts, you
think is
piece of
awesome?
shit.
One thing
That
that's
fucking
awesome.
hurts.
Yeah, Joe.
He's an asshole.
I think it's awesome that you have a forum like this where you can actually talk about them real.
Right.
You know, can you
Yeah.
imagine if you were on a regular fucking radio show, or if you were, forced to do some TV show just a decade ago, you would have had a horseshit through it.
Yep.
You couldn't really be real or and use every word in your vocabulary. It's so appropriate that we get to talk about this guy in this form.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it feels good because that's exactly the type of guy he was. He didn't want you to soft soap it or bullshit.
Yeah.
I've been crying almost every night for a month. I mean, it's like it's not like comedians don't. We're all fucking a wreck over it. It's fucking.
Yeah.
I've been claustrophobic. I haven't been able to sleep. I've been waking up just thinking of him laying there. Like it's been a fucking.
I have dreams.
Nightmare.
I have dreams that he gets up. I've been having dreams for the last month that he's up and we're hanging out and he's a little fucked up and he's got a cane, but we're talking and and then you wake up and you're like, fuck, you start crying and you're like, what the fuck? And
that's always the weirdest thing when someone passes, when you have dreams about them being okay. And then, I had a few dreams about Phil Hartman after he died. That were like really, really realistic. For people who don't know, his wife shot him in his sleep and then shot herself. And it was really fucked up at the time. I had never known anybody that got shot before. It was, especially someone who got shot by someone else I knew. But I would have all these dreams about him being alive. And then you wake up and like, God damn, it's the weirdest fucking feeling to have a dream about someone that you really love and care about, and then they're gone. And then you're in the dream that you're talking to them, and it's just like the old times, and you're like, man, I didn't really appreciate those fucking old times as much as I do now.
Yeah,
There's a letdown too when you wake up.
It's so weird though, because like after the dream's done and you wake up, you have the memory of it, so it's almost like you got to hang out with him again.
One more time,
because it's a new situation.
Yeah.
It's it's very weird. But then you realize it was just manifest in your own head, and they had no input whatsoever. It was just your dumb fucking idea of the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta piss.
Yeah, Joe, thank you so much for
Joe,
calling, man.
absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Stay tuned. Our tribute continues with more moments from Patrice O'Neal on the Opie and Anthony Show after this.